Hey, Adam here with FCP Euro. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to back off the rear parking brake on this Volvo V60. Now this will translate to pretty much any Volvo made after 2008, but for this I'm going to be basically talking about it through the lens of this Volvo. So the reason why you would want to do this is if you are doing a rear brake job on a vehicle with a rear electronic parking brake, you're going to have to back off that piston, or otherwise you're not going to be able to get the new brake pads in. So the first would be to use any scan tool with an EPB function. This is an MX808. A lot of scan tools do actually have an EPB function to it, so that's not really too difficult. I don't really necessarily need to show you the ins and outs on how to use it. Whatever scan tool you have will be a little bit different. This is just how to use this one. Let's see, activate service mode. Okay, service mode. And then when you're done with the brake service, you can just use the tool again to recalibrate your rear parking brake and you'll be on your way. All right, so now we're at the rear of the car. We're going to take the wheel off with the 19mm socket. So the second, and for some reason the most popular way to back off the rear parking brake before a brake job is to take off the electronic unit and then drive the caliper manually. What our goal is to remove this electronic portion off of the caliper so that we can back the piston off. What's holding this electronic portion on are 2 T30 Torx bolts right here. The bottom one is hard to access. It's actually right behind part of this trailing arm / hub member. So we're actually just going to take the caliper off with 2 15mm bolts that are located right up here, and then one directly underneath. Okay. So now I have access to the 2 T30 bolts right here, so we can take these off and get this electronic portion out of here. Remove the 2 T30 Torx bolts right here. Be very careful to apply downward pressure as to not strip them, because they're usually a little bit rusty. These bolts are of course Loctited, so you could either get new bolts or you can reuse these with Loctite. You can also replace these with a stainless steel version available on our website. And if you want, at this time, you can remove this electrical connector too if it's in your way. So you can see there is a drive inside this. That would be the motor drive that interfaces with the caliper, the parking brake. And on the caliper side, you can see the mating area where the drive sort of goes in there. If you have M8 triple square, you can interface directly with the parking brake, and it's actually clockwise to turn it to back it out. So you're going to turn this all the way just with your fingers until it bottoms out. But you can also use, if you don't have that bit, T40 Torx will also work to back that out. Now it has reached the bottom. Now I can just use whatever tool of my choosing to back that piston out. So before putting it together, you'll notice an O-ring here. Just check that O-ring, make sure it's in good shape. This car is actually fairly new, so the rubber is in good shape. If you see cracks or anything like that, definitely replace this O-ring, because you do not want water intrusion into the inner workings of this caliper. It'll completely ruin it. All right. You can feel when the O-ring seats down in there. Of course, use a little bit of Loctite on these bolts if you're replacing them. If you don't like the look of them, you could also replace with new, of course. So the third, and in my opinion, the easiest way to back off the EVP is to just use a 9-volt battery, just like what everybody has in their home someplace. So all you have to do is take off this connector and you're going to apply current to the electrical motor. Basically, this is a simple motor. It will start backing off when you get this in the right direction. If you put it in the wrong direction, it will tighten, and so just keep an eye on it. If it's tightening, then you want to reverse the red and the black wires, reverse the polarity. So I actually tightened it up because now I can feel that the rotor won't turn. So what we're going to do is flip it. The black one will move to the bottom and the red one will move to the top. Sometimes it's a little hard to get a good connection on it, but as long as it's moving, you're in good shape. So once you're done with your rear brake job, if you use either the second or the third method, which would be to back off the parking brake manually or to use the battery, you're going to want to then reset the parking brake, and you don't need any special tools to do that. You can just set it on the dash here. It says push lock. So with the car running, put your foot on the brake, push lock. You'll hear the parking brake engage. If you had it all the way backed off, you usually will hear it go for a little while, and then you'll get your parking brake notification. Then you back it off, push in again, back it off. Feels good. I could feel it in the pedal. Both calipers sound the same, so I'm good with that, and that job is done. So if this was helpful, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to our channel with more Volvo content, and if you have any tips, suggestions, or just a comment, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.